My class started last week. That was when we started using Zoom.
Yes,
Hello.
sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Then where did we stop? What did we talk about? We are looking, the course is social work rehabilitation and integration. Is that SWK 422?
Yes, sir.
So what was the last point I made during the class? Can somebody help us out? Marianne, you were in the class too, I guess. Hello?
I was not in the class last week, because of we are having electricity problem here and I couldn't charge.
You were in my class last week, Chioma.
Me?
Yeah. You were not?
Yeah. Okay, I was in the class, yes. But I came in late.
Okay, I've heard.
I came in late.
I will ask Mr. Shegun to retrieve the attendance for me. To retrieve the attendance. I could remember I told Chidera to take the attendance of those in the class for me. I can remember I told her that.
Yes, you told her that.
Yeah, I told her to do that for me, and you were 8 in the class. And the only person that was not there when the class ended was Marianne. And when I say Marianne wasn't in the class, they said she was. I said she left the class before the end of the class. Marianne, was that? Marianne. And she's out of her network has gone again.
Yes.
Okay.
No, that last time her network was having issue.
I don't know. Okay. Then how about your health issue?
I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I cannot explain it here.
Is there any other person there? I asked because there's nobody here with us again. Okay. That's why I asked. Check, there's nobody here with us.
So I've been having this severe pain on my leg because I removed the chain.
Oh my God, I love this. I'm hearing this.
So
you are not returning back. Okay, I'm hearing you.
So I returned it back because the pain was much, and I was having serious headache. It was as if my head wants to explode, and I was now down.
Chioma, it was your imagination. It is because you believe that if you can do it. Okay, the first place, right? Okay, we talk about that later. Can we continue? Chioma, Marianne.
Yes, sir.
Where is what was your sister's name now?
Daniela.
Yeah.
She's trying to log in. She's in the village.
In the village? Is that where she's doing her IT?
No.
Then why is she in the village?
Something happened, so she traveled.
You mean it? Hope not that bad.
No, she lost someone.
My God, and you say it's not bad. It's bad now.
Yes, it's bad. I didn't get it.
A member of our family?
Yes.
Who is that?
So I think it's her mom's sister, but it's 2 people. I have forgotten.
2 people died?
Yes.
Was it an accident?
No, the first person died before the second person.
Jesus Christ. Okay, no problem. Wow. Sure.
Okay.
Wow. Okay, let's see how far we can go. I was telling us last week that the essence of rehabilitation and reintegration is as a result of disability. Before you can talk of reintegration or rehabilitation, there is something that happened. You get it? You don't just talk about rehabilitation, you don't just talk about reintegration. Something must have happened before you will need to rehabilitate the person, before you will need to reintegrate the person. Rehabilitation has to do with, bringing the person back, excluding, removing the person from the sin or from the habit, or from, to rehabilitate the person so that the person can begin to cope. Then after you might have done that, then you now reintegrate the person back to the society. Rehabilitation is to fix him up, no matter what might have happened, just to make the person a fit person back into the society. And by the time you've done that, the person will be reintegrated. The person was integrated before, but was taken out of the society. That's why you're not talking about reintegration. You get it? And that's what I was asking. Marianne, please unmute.
I can hear you.
Yeah, can you tell us where we stopped last week? Can you remind us? You didn't stay till the end of the class last week, I guess?
No, sir.
Because when they were writing names,
Yes.
I told them not to write your name because you didn't finish with us. So I could remember that. Chioma, unmute. Chioma.
Sir?
Where did we stop last week? Can you remember?
No, sir.
Can you see your mouth? No, sir. Huh? Okay. Okay, let's just see how far we can do that this morning. Okay, let me quickly go through it. Just read through. It said disability is any condition of the body or mind, impairment that makes it more difficult for a person with the condition to do certain activities. We talk about limitation and we talk about restriction. The limitation is as a result of individual inability to do some things. Then participation is when somebody is restricted from participating in, interacting with the world around them. According to legal definitions that set forth by the American with Disability Act, a person with a disability is someone who has a physical or mental impairment that substantially limits one or more major life activity. Disability limits one or more major activity, substantially limits one from doing major life activities. However, this definition doesn't really offer a full picture of disability. It is important to recognize the diversity of disability. That is, disability is not just one thing; it is in diverse. We talk about visible and invisible disability. Disability can be visible or invisible, something a person is born with or acquire at any point in life. Many people simply envision a wheelchair. Anytime we talk about disability, what comes to mind is people who are physically disabled. When you talk about disability, what comes to mind is person sitting on a wheelchair when thinking about disability. But there are so many types of disabilities beyond mobility disabilities. When we talk about disability, we must remember that this includes, but it is no way limited to mental health disabilities, chronic illnesses, intellectual disabilities, hearing and vision disabilities. If a person has a disability, this means that they suffer with a condition of the mind or body that makes it difficult for them to communicate effectively with others or complete day-to-day activities in the same way as others. This means that their life is in some way limited. Do we understand that? Both of you should unmute your mic. Do you understand that since you are just two in the class? I can accommodate two of you.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay, let's go. Okay. Okay, so we want to look at different models of disability. I can remember I talked about that last week. Models of disability, we talk about the medical model and we talk about social model. You know, the medical model believes that everything about disability is medical. You get it? Defining disability solely as a medical diagnosis that is physical, biological, pathological ignores the structural inequalities. The structural inequalities is the hindrance the society has placed in the way of those who are disabled, which is compounding their disabilities. You get it? Ignores the structural inequalities that often cause or contribute to disability. At times, the structural inequalities can lead to disabilities. Structural things that are meant to be put in place. You know, when the government is expected to fund health, and the money that is meant for health is being siphoned, you know, as a result of not properly funding health sector, what should have been taken care of could lead to one disability. So all these are talking about the structural, you know, contribution to inequality. To disability. It can either cause disability or compound disabilities. Do we understand that? Talking about the structural inequalities, which often cause or contribute to disability. This way of thinking, known as the medical model. Medical model only believe that everything about disability is medical, physical, biological, and pathological, leaving out the structural or the social causes of disability. So when you're talking about medical model, the medical model is only to see disability as something that has to do with biological, physical, and pathological. Do we understand that?
Yes, sir.
You understand? Okay, let's continue. So known as medical model, assume that an individual disability is a problem, is need to fix, is a problem that is need to fix, that in need of fixing, that is in need of fixing, curing, and eradicating, rather than recognizing it as a facet of identity. Medical approaches tend to ignore the reality that many disabilities are chronic. You know, medical disabilities believe that everything can be fixed. That is from the medical model. Believe that everything about disability can be fixed. But here we are saying that medical approach tend to ignore the reality that many disabilities are chronic and cannot be fixed. You know, if you are talking about the criticism of medical model, this should be one of the criticism of medical model, that the model did not see it that some of the disabilities are chronic and they cannot be fixed, and that many disabled people do not want a cure. I can remember I was telling you last week that when I went to Adejumo during my master's in social work, there was a man crippled that will be always on the road begging for money. And I was told that man has about 4 wives and has 2 houses or thereabouts. From that, I'm begging. Do you think that man will want to be healed? You want to be cured, even if there's anybody to cure him? Do you think he will want to be cured? No, because of what is benefiting from it. And I was just asking the person who told me, who on earth will marry this guy? And the man told me, forget it. If you have money, you get women. No matter your condition, what they want is women. I'm asking, is it true that all that women need is money? They are not even considering the condition of the man, how the man is getting the money. You get it. So that is just that. So that is it. That some of them do not want cure. By contrast, the social model of disability consider the problem to be society and the barriers, whether physical or attitudinal, it places in front of people with disabilities. So it's telling us that the problem is not purely medical. That looking at the social model, that the problem is not purely medical, but it's talking about the problem should be the society. Society is the problem. And the barriers, either that barrier is physical or attitudinal, which it places in front of the people with disabilities. Remember, we said even this social aspect, this structural aspect, can either contribute, can even be the cause of disability. Like I told us that when you have nurses, or when you have all these, I call them killer nurses. I've seen situations whereby somebody was injected in the wrong place, and that led to his disability. It led to his disability. It affected one of his legs. So that is not medical. Rather, it is structural. We could be talking about unqualified medical personnel. And if you look at it, the situation of the country is forcing people to leave the country en mass exodus of people. So what we are saying is that it is not all about medical. The structural aspect, which is the social model, can also cause disability or compound disability. This social aspect places barrier, whether physical or attitudinal, in front of disabilities. It is these barriers, not the person, that must change. If the barrier is removed, then we will have less of disability. Because what should have been put in place to avoid disabilities will have been put in place. Will have been put in place. If good roads are there, accidents will be limited on the road. Then we have, less accident that will lead people to become disabled. If the structural aspect, if the social aspect are being taken care of, then there will be little, it will reduce the issue of disability, especially the physical disabilities, especially the visible disabilities. And at the same time, it can also reduce invisible disabilities. People thinking, getting to the point of depression, as a result of, there are some people up to this moment, they don't even know what they will eat, because the economy is not favorable. And this is a man who has a wife, who has children. The children have not been able to resume his school. The man, you get what I'm saying? All these are social factors. All these are social factors that can push one to disability, to the point of depression. A man will just leave the house. People will go and commit, and you get what I'm saying. So the issue of the social aspect of the social model is also contributing to disability, and also not only contributing to disability, but also compounding disabilities. Do we understand that?
Yes.
You understand that? Okay. The key is to recognize that disability itself is not a problem. It is a natural part of the human experience. Traditionally, donors have mostly approached disability using medical models. What were we saying? That those we refer to as donors that want to donate, their focus has only been on the medical model of disability. Those who need medical attention, talk about the physical, the biological, and the pathological. That is the only area they have fixed their attention to. You get it? Not looking at the other aspect, the social aspect that is contributing to disability. But the social model is critical to understand the way disability intersects with and is caused by other inequalities. Telling you that the social aspect, which talks about inequalities, is a contributing factor to disabilities. Remember, disability cuts across class, gender, race, ethnicity, but being disabled disproportionately affect those living in poverty. You get it? Yes, disability does not know race, does not know class. As you can see, those who are disabled among the Yoruba, you see among the Igbo, you see among the Hausa, As you see disabled in Nigeria, you see in America, doesn't know class. As you see among the poor, you see among the rich. As you see among men, you see among female. You see among the white, you see among the black. So disability cuts across class, gender, race, ethnicity. But being disabled disproportionately, not proportionately. Proportionately means equally. Disproportionately means unequal. So it affects those living in poverty more. It affects women more. It affects black more and non-black people of color. So being disabled disproportionately affects those living in poverty, women and black and non-black people of color. There are many types of disabilities, such as those that affect a person's vision. Disability can affect vision, can affect movement, can affect thinking, can affect remembering. There are some people that have dementia, they forget things easily. There are some disabilities that can affect learning, that can affect communicating, that can affect hearing, that can affect mental health, that can as well affect social relationships. Although people with disabilities sometimes refer to a single population, this is actually a diverse group of people with a wide range of needs, meaning that people living with disabilities have different needs. They have different needs. As their disability differs, so their needs also differs. Two people with the same type of disability can be affected in different ways. Yes, it all depends on, two people having the same disabilities can be affected different ways. How? If someone is living with disabilities and is still appreciated, is still, the family are with him, everything he or she needs is being supplied, that person will not have problem. In fact, people around him, people, having everything he or she needs will not make him remember the fact that he is disabled. You can't compare that with people living in poverty and the person is disabled. Which among them do you think will have depression first? Hello?
That the person that the family does not care for very well.
That is it. Person that is not being cared for is disabled, doesn't know what he's going to eat. But you see, somebody who is disabled, he has everything at his disposal. He has his automatic wheelchair. He has a car he's driving by himself. Once he gets to his car, the car will just lift him up. You get it, lift the wheelchair up. He enter into the car. He's not depending on anybody. If he's seen behind the wheels, you will know that the person is disabled. He get the food at the right time. He's even employed. He's working. He's married. That person is being loved. I'm telling you, he cannot have the same experience with somebody in the same category, but is not having all this love, all this available to them. So we said here, two people with the same type of disability can be affected in different ways. Some disabilities may be hidden or not easy to see. That's why I talk about visible disability and invisible disability. According to World Health Organization, disability has 3 dimensions. There is empowerment, there is activity limitation, there is activity restriction. We talk about that, when I started this morning, the recap. Impairment in a person's body structure or function or mental functioning. Example of impairment include loss of a limb, loss of vision, or memory loss. All these are impairments. Vision impaired. Have you heard that before? Hearing impaired. Have you heard of that before? When somebody is vision impaired.
Yes, sir.
That is impairment. Then impairment can then lead to activities limitation. As a result of impairment, Somebody can be limited, can be what? Limited in the activities he or she can perform. It can be limited, such as difficulty in seeing, hearing, walking, or problem solving. So that person is limited in his activities. And if that person is limited in his activities, it could be restricted in participation. Can you see how these three work into the other? Impairment can lead to what? Activities limitation. Do you understand that? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
I don't understand you.
You didn't understand me. Who is that?
No, sir. It's
Marianne.
Marianne. Sir?
You don't understand me.
Yes.
I said impairment in a person's body structure or function or mental functioning. Example of impairment is loss of a limb, loss of vision, or memory loss. Did you get that?
Yes, sir.
Now, we now move from impairment. We said according to World Health Organization, disability has 3 dimensions. The first dimension is impairment. The second dimension is activity limitation. And the third dimension is participation restriction. Now, we have explained impairment. And I said as a result of impairment, it can lead to activity limitation. That is, it can limit one's activity. Do you understand that? Marianne, I'm talking. I need
Yes,
your
sir.
response.
Yes,
So
sir.
it can lead to activity limitations, such as difficulty in seeing, because the person is vision impaired. Do you get it? So as a result of difficulty in seeing, difficulty in hearing, difficulty in walking, or problem solving, as a result of that, that person can have what we call activity limitation. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
So as a result of activity limitation, it can also lead to the third one, which is participation restriction, meaning that the person can be restricted from participating in the world impairment, activity limitation, then participation restriction. In normal daily activities, such as working, engaging in social and recreational activities, and obtaining healthcare and preventive services, such person can be restricted. Such person will not be allowed to engage in work. Such person will not be allowed in some social and recreational activities. So you can see that is participation restriction. So we move from impairment to limitation, activity limitation, and from activity limitation to participation restriction. Do you understand the 3? Hello?
You
Yes,
said
sir.
that there are 2 dimensions in disability.
There are three dimensions.
I only got one. The other 2, I didn't get it.
Which one did you get?
Activity limitation.
It didn't start from there. Marianne, which one did it start from? Where did it start? Which is the first one?
Impairment.
After impairment?
Activity limitation.
After activity limitation?
Participation restriction.
Participation restriction. Do you now get everything, Choma?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think it's only 2 of you that are in this class that are participating. Chidera, class rep.
Yes, sir.
Why did you come late to the class?
I was having network issue.
You are having network issue. Where are you? In the village? Are you in the village?
Hmm.
Where are you?
I'm inside one village like that.
You
Around
keep quiet. You are lying. Which kind of village are you talking about?
So I'm at Nike side, inside Nike.
Nike.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The attendance I asked you to keep last week. How many of you are in that class? 8 of you, am I correct?
Yes, sir.
And how many of you are in this class? Once it
7.
is 8, once it is 12:15, I will take my attendance by myself, and anyone that is not in class by 8:15 is not in my class. Though I know we could be having network challenge. Now take the attendance of this class now. How many of you are in the class now?
We are
1, 2,
7.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. 7 of you. Okay, Daniela, you are in the class now. Daniela. Daniela. Unmute now. Daniela.
I can hear you, sir. Good afternoon.
Okay, thank God. I can. Okay, sorry there for your loss. I'll talk with you later. It is well with you there. Yeah. Take care. Bye. So let's continue. I said, according to World Health Organization, disability has 3 dimensions: impairment, activity limitation, and participation restriction. Okay, we continue from there. Disability can be one related to conditions that are present at birth. You know, some people their disabilities from birth and may affect functions later in life, including cognition, that is, can affect the memory, which has to do with cognitive memory, learning, and understanding. This can be from birth, mobility, that is moving around in the environment, and vision, hearing, behavior, and other areas. These conditions may be what we call disorder in single genes. We talked about this last week. For example, Duchenne muscular dystrophy, you know, it could be as a result of that. Disorder of chromosomes, for example, Down syndrome, and the last one, the result of the mother's exposure during pregnancy. All these can lead to disability from birth, the conditions that are present at birth. You know, there are some pregnant women, when you tell them you don't drink, you know, they drink, they smoke even while pregnant. And that can as well expose them, you know, expose the baby in their womb to risk at birth. So the result of mother's exposure during pregnancy to infections, for example, rubella, or substances such as alcohol or cigarettes, can also lead to, you know, such disability from birth. At times associated with developmental conditions that becomes associated with developmental conditions that become apparent during childhood. Some may become visible, noticed at childhood. For example, autism spectrum. You know, when a child is born at birth, you may not notice that, but as the child begins to grow, you notice that autism spectrum disorder and attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD. That is a hyperactivity disorder, or ADAD. So that is just that. That is talking about when the person begins to grow at childhood. Another one could relate to an injury, for example, traumatic brain injury or spinal cord injury. All these are what could lead to disability. You know, associated with long-standing condition, for example, diabetes, which can cause a disability such as vision loss, nerve damage, or limb loss. You know, as a result of what's it called, disability. You know, maybe the wound is unable to heal up and is affecting, they may have to amputate the limb. Then there are some that are also progressive, that you don't just get there once. And I believe with these ones, if attention is given early enough, there could be way out. So we talk about, it can also be progressive. For example, muscular dystrophy, static, for example, limb loss, or intermittent. For example, some form of multiple sclerosis can, you know, is a progressive something. You don't just get there one day. They are progressive. So we look at what is impairment. You know, we talk about impairment, we talk about activities limitation, we talk about participation restriction. We just talk about them. According to World Health Organization, the 3 dimensions of disability, which are what? Impairment, activity limitation, and participation restriction. So we want to look at impairment itself. What is impairment? Impairment is an absence of or significant difference in person's body structure or function or mental functioning. For example, problems in the structure of the brain can result in difficulty with mental functioning, or problems with the structure of the eyes or ears can result in difficulty with the functions of visions or hearing. Then we look at structural impairment. Structural impairment are significant problems with an internal or external component of the body. Examples of these include a type of nerve damage that can result in multiple sclerosis, that can lead to multiple sclerosis, or a complete loss of the body component, as when a limb has been amputated. That is structural impairment. The functional impairment. Remember, the first one is structural, the second one is functional impairment. Functional impairments include the complete or partial loss of a function of a body part. Examples of these include pain that does not go away or joints that no longer move easily. That is functional impairment. You know, it is functional. It has limited the functioning of that part of the body. Either loss of a function of a body part. The further one is structural impairment as a result of nerve damage that can result in multiple sclerosis or a complete loss of a body component. A complete loss of a body component. They want to look at difference between activity limitation and participation restriction. Even from what I've given so far, can somebody just tell us what difference between activity limitation and participation restriction? Somebody, please. Somebody, please. What difference between activity limitation and participation restriction? Is there nobody in the class again? Are there no people in the class?
So we are here.
So I'm asking a question. What difference between activity limitation and participation restriction?
Sir,
I'm hearing.
I think activity limitation has to do with the difficulty or inability to perform some tasks or some actions, such as maybe the disabled person or the special person finding it difficult to dress, have their baths, cooking and walking. Then participation and limitation have to do with restriction in involvement, maybe restricting the person in involvement in life situation and social activities.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I think you have said it all. The activity limitation is as a result of one's condition. You are limited in, you may even want to do it, but you are limited. Then participation is you are restricted. It's like one is as a result of one position, while the participation is as a result of being placed on you. You are being restricted. You know, restriction is external. Do you know that? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Restriction is external. While limitation is what? Internal. Do you understand the meaning of that explanation?
Yes, sir.
Limitation is internal. Restriction is what?
External.
It's coming from external. Limitation is internal. It's you yourself. You know you are being limited. You know, I've been limited by this, by that. But restriction is being placed upon you, upon someone from external. So let's continue. The World Health Organization published the International Classification of Functioning, Disability, and Health, which is ICF, in 2001. The ICF provides a standard language for classifying body function and structure, activity, participation level, and conditions in the world around us that influence health, that either help or create barriers for people to fully participate in society. According to the ICF, activity is the execution of a task or action by an individual. Participation is a person's involvement in a life situation. You participate with other people. When you are participating in something, you are not the only one doing it. Is that gotten? Is that gotten?
No,
Yes, sir.
sir. Sir, I did not get what you said in activity.
Activity is the execution of a task or action by an individual. Remember I said that participation or restriction is external. And I said activity limitation is internal. Do you remember that?
Yes, sir.
Now, we're now looking at it. The activity is the execution of a task or action by an individual. It is an individual that is performing the activity. While participation is being done with other people. When you participate, it simply means you are not the only one doing something. Is that gotten?
Yes, sir.
When you participate in a task, it simply means that you are not the only one doing it. If it is participation, you are not the only one doing it. You only participated in it. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So according to ICF, the ICF acknowledges that the distinction between these two categories is somewhat unclear and combines them. Although basically, activity takes place at a personal level and participation involves engagement in life roles. So that I just explained to you that activity is an individual thing. Participation is in conjunction with other people, such as employment is part of participation. Employment, education, relationships, all these are part of participation. And when there's participation restriction, it then means that such person is restricted to participate in work employment, such person is restricted in education, such person is also restricted even in relationships. Activity limitation and participation restriction have to do with difficulties and individual experiences in performing tasks and in engaging in social roles. So in engaging tasks is an individual, and in engaging in social roles is participation with other people. So as a result of this, it shows that the person is being limited, cannot do what is expected of him or her. Activities participation can be made easier or more difficult as a result of environmental factors. Activities and participation can be made easier or more difficult as a result of environmental factors. Remember when we are looking at the two models, who can remind me the two models of disability? The two models of disability. Chioma Favor, what are the two models? Chioma Favor.
You said medical and social model.
Thank you so much.
Model of disability.
Thank you. Medical models and social models. So now looking at these, the activities and participation can be made easier or more difficult as a result of the environmental factors such as technology, support, and relationships, services, policies, or the beliefs of others. All these can make activities and participation easier or difficult. If you have all these at your disposal, if you have technology, if you have support, if you have good relationships, if you have services put in place, if you have good policies by the government, and the belief of other people, the belief of other people, such as in every disability, there is ability, meaning that somebody who is crippled can still walk with his hands. Let's employ such person. You know, the belief of other people that because somebody is crippled does not mean that he's crippled in his brain. That is the belief of people. So if all these are being put in place, then the issue of activities and participation will be solved. Do we understand that? Do you understand that? You know,
yes, sir.
This 1 hour is too short for me, honestly. It's too short for me. Already now, this is 12:56. Is there anything we can do about it? Somebody said no. Straight. I love that. If you are not helping me, you are helping yourself. I've taken it as no. Thank you. Let's continue. Do you think I'm the one that will write exam? I'm not. I'm not. Instead of it to stay, if you have the opportunity to, and I'm the one that want to put extra work, extra load upon myself, not you. What the school approved is 1 hour. And every one of you met me in the class. I believe that. All of you met me in the class. Every one of you met me in the class. So I'm just want to give myself extra load. Thank you for taking that load away from me. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. So let's continue. The ICF includes the following in the categories of activities and participation: learning and applying knowledge, managing tasks and demands, mobility, moving and maintaining body positions, handling and moving objects, moving around in the environment, moving around using transportation, managing self-care tasks, managing domestic life, establishing and managing interpersonal relationship and interactions, engaging in major life areas such as education, employment, managing money or finances, engaging in community, social, and civic life. All these are activities that come under, all these are
Sir, you are too fast. I didn't get it.
I didn't want you to get it. I'm just telling you. Definitely, I will send the course notes, lecture notes to you. But let me just go back to it. According to ICF, the ICF includes the following. What do we say ICF is? Can somebody remind me? We said the World Health Organization published the International Classification Functioning. That is ICF, International Classification of Functioning, Disability and Health. International Classification of Functioning, Disability and Health. That is ICF. So we said the ICF includes the functioning, International Classification of Functioning. For those who are disabled, the functioning include this: learning and applying knowledge. Now, if I may ask, learning and applying knowledge, under where will it fall? Will it fall under activities or fall under participation?
Under participation.
Learning and applying knowledge. Learning and applying knowledge, are you doing it in conjunction with other people? You are doing it all alone?
In conjunction with other people.
When you're applying knowledge, okay, the knowledge you have received in this class now, if you want to apply it, are you going to do it in conjunction with somebody else?
No, sir.
So it will come under what?
It should come under the first one.
That's activities limitation.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
fine.
sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. See your mouth. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Village girl. Managing tasks and demands. Is it going to come under activities or under participation?
Under activities.
Managing tasks and demands. Thank you. The mobility, moving and maintaining body position, handling and moving objects, moving around in the environment, moving around using transportation. Under which is it going to come now?
Activity.
Oh my God. Maria, you are the one talking.
Yes, sir.
I'm afraid. Are you the only one that understood? I'm scared. Hello, I want people to talk, so on mute now, so let me hear your voice. Now, managing self-care tasks, under where is it going to come? Activities or participation?
Participation.
Managing self-care tasks, self-care.
There is
Under
under
what?
activity.
Under?
Activities.
It's under
It's under-
activities, sir.
Thank you. Managing domestic lifestyle.
Under
Chioma, you are guessing.
Activity.
You don't understand. It's
That is
under
under-
activity.
it's under activity.
You are guessing, Chioma.
So I'm not guessing, I'm trying to answer the correct one, so I will not do mistake again.
Okay, you are trying to, you are processing it to know which one is right.
Yes.
Okay, fine. It's under activities. Establishing and maintaining international interpersonal relationship and interactions. Under
Participation.
engaging in major life areas, education, employment, managing money or finance. Under
Participation.
engaging in community, social, and civic life. Under
Participation.
so I think we now understand the difference between activities limitation and participation restriction. Do you understand the two now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. It is very important to improve the conditions in the communities by providing accommodation that decreases or eliminates activities limitation and participation restriction for people with disabilities, so they can participate in the roles and activities of everyday life. Now, if you look at the two models we talk about, if you look at the two models, talking about the medical model and the social model, which one do you think is going to take care of this issue here? I know Chioma and Miriam were in the class. It is very important to improve the conditions in communities by providing accommodations that decreases or eliminate activities limitations and participation restriction for people with disabilities, so they can participate in the role and act and activities of everyday life. So which of the models are we going to invoke if you are looking at this? Which of the two models?
Social model.
That is social model.
The social model.
Yes, sir.
I agree with you, because these are the structures that place barriers before the either physical or attitudinal barriers before people living in disabilities. I know that people in the class are wondering, what are we talking about? We talk about models last week. For those of us in the class, I believe you can still remember. We talk about the two models, medical models and what again, and social models. So the social model is the one that is expected to look at this. There are four main categories that define disabilities. There are four main categories that define disabilities. We have behavioral or emotional. We have sensory impaired disorder. We have physical, and we have developmental. The four categories that defines disabilities. The first one is behavioral. The second one is sensory. The sensory has to do with the sense organ, the 5 sensory organs. Hope you know them. Do we remember the 5 sensory organs?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So the first one is behavioral or emotional. The second one is sensory impaired disorders. The third one is physical, and the last one is developmental. This is 105. Can we call it quit here? Hello?
Sir, please, you said the second one is sensory.
Sensory. Sense.
Okay, sensory.
SENSORY. Sensory impaired disorder.
Sir, please, the first one.
Behavioral or emotional. Are we done?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what I have next is the explanation of the 4. But I will try as much as possible to send, let somebody just remind me later. Let somebody remind me, start the material, the lecture notes. You get it. If at least if I don't send it, now let somebody just remind me that the lecture
Okay,
notes,
sir.
you never send them on. You get it. So at least you can be on the same page. Although I've not gone, I only have about 18 pages, and I've not really finished with the course with the course content. Dr. Kemi Ottun will be coming in maybe after next week to take some part of the course too. So she'll be coming in. I'll be in the class to introduce her to the class. So can we call it quit here? Then we meet 1 hour. God will help us. Okay, thank you very much. Chidima, Chidera.
Yeah.
You are just 7 in the class today.
Yes, sir.
Abi? So
Yes,
take the
sir.
attendance, take the attendance. Take the attendance. I have Marianne, I have Chidera, I have Amadi Precious, I have Chiemere. Chiemere is Chukuna, am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, Favor Chioma, Daniela, and Onwe Precious.
There is no
Okay.
pressure, so promise.
Promise.
Sorry, Onwe promise. No, Allah. Maybe she's
Yes,
using the sister phone. Do you know? Do you know if she's using the sister phone? Okay, you are just 7 in the class. Okay, no problem. Just take the attendance and keep for me. Okay, bye. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you,
Bye,
sir.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Bye.